Yo, what's good? We got these Air Jordan Bling 4's from 2000. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that these were the first triple white Air Jordans to ever release. There was another retro that looked similar to these, called the Pure Money 4's. The only difference from the two pairs is the Bling 4's don't have a netting, it's all leather. And the Bling 4's have a big old Jumpman stitch on the tongue instead of a Jordan 4 flight patch. Have y'all seen the embroidered Jumpman on the Bling 4's? Cause yeah, damn, that's Jordan at its thickest. These 4's look absolutely disgusting. And I actually have a cleaner that everyone loves that I want to test out. I think it's a lot easier if I just spray these down outside. I'm just gonna remove as much dirt as I can. I'm just using a garden hose because I'm afraid to use my pressure washer. I'm afraid it might cut the shoes in half. But if you guys really want me to use a pressure washer next time, let me know in the comments below. And run up the likes to 3,000 and suggest a shoe that I would do it to. I'm gonna use Just for Kicks shoe cleaner on the insoles and do my best to remove as much dirt as possible. I'm gonna need something more abrasive to cut through the dirt that's trapped in the fabric. I'm gonna use FZ Dawn dish soap to cut through all the dirt. It strips the oil off a lot of the shoes, that's why I don't use it too often. But if it's on fabric or rubber, it's fine to use. I'm gonna hit it again with the first cleaner I use just because it smells good. This is scented lavender. Now for the laces, I just have water and laundry detergent inside the bottle. Alright guys, I'm gonna test out the famous TikTok shoe cleaner, FC150 by Shoe Doc. First impression, I really like the size of the brushes. There's two sets of brushes, one soft and one coarse. I wish there was a stiffer brush to tackle the outsoles. That's something you can get on Amazon, so I'm not even tripping. Alright, you guys already know what time it is.
I get my shoe cleaner ready, I pump the foam, and when I see the foam, I'm in my zone.
I'm just gonna hit the whole shoe with it. I forgot to dip my brush in the water, but that's okay. I'm just gonna hit the whole thing with foam. My thoughts so far on the cleaner, honestly, it's not even that bad. It's a pretty good cleaner. For everyone saying that it sucks, I think you're just doing it wrong. The cleaner itself is good. Shoe Dog just needs to add a third brush to really tackle the grime on the outsole. Alright, I'm gonna hit this side of the outsole with the coarse brush. Alright, let me know what you guys think about FC150. Now, I want to go toe to toe with the cleaner that I've been using. For this cleaner, there is no foam because it does not come with a pump, but it does have a sudsy look to it. Alright, I'm gonna speed it up just because watching me clean shoes is like watching paint dry. Alright, so this is FC150 to the left, and this is Just for Kicks to the right. Both of them do an amazing job. There's still dirt trapped in the stitching of the tongue, so I'm going to use a water pick to blow the dirt out. For the inside of the shoe, I'm going to use laundry detergent and running water to clean the fabric on the inside. Okay, now that the uppers are clean, the next step is to take out the outsoles, but before we do that, we have to take out the stitching that's holding the shoe together on a toe cap. If you guys notice the leather on the toe cap, you notice that they Dremel too high above the outsole line. That's why you see that dark gray leather right there. Even on the back right here, you can see that they aimed too high. Quality control wasn't as great back then. That's why you have these blemishes on the older shoes. I'm gonna take out the midsole foam by hand and use acetone and cotton balls with the help of a heat gun to remove the remaining crumbled midsole and factory glue. It's so crazy what marketing can do, because every time I think about the word foam, I think about the shoe cleaner. That jingle is just everywhere. What do you guys think about the new table, by the way? It's just white laminated wood that I put on top of my old table. It just looks way better for video. But yeah, man, I'm just gonna clean the rest of the outsole with acetone and cotton balls. The outsoles are dirty and yellowed, so I'm gonna deep clean them and then unyellow them with my own sole sauce. The sole sauce is just 12% hydrogen peroxide that I got from Amazon and xanthan gum to use as a thickener. I could use Sally's 40 volume, which is what everybody uses and what everybody resells as their own, but I'm cutting out all the hair product ingredients that I don't want on the shoes. After applying my saran wrap, I'm gonna put them outside so the sun can do its magic. For the remaining crumbled midsole and factory glue, I'm just going to use an X-Acto knife to skive out the leather, which is basically just cutting off the top of the leather. This is going to save me a lot of acetone and cotton balls by doing this. Because of inflation and all of this ish, a gallon of acetone used to cost like $16 to $17 like a few years ago for a gallon. Now it's $27. Ridiculous. Also, you have fresh leather to bond to, so the reglue does get stronger with this method. If you guys try this, just practice on a pair that you're not actually working on, because you might cut up too much or you might cut up areas that you don't want to cut up. This is a new method that I'm trying to implement now. This is a method that I've seen Shoe Culture, Gifted Kicks, A1 Restorations, and Flipping Kicks do, so it's for sure a more difficult technique, but the results are worth it. I go through a lot of new blades because of this, because after doing half a shoe, the blades start to get dull, and you want the blade as sharp as possible so you don't make any mistakes. Then I'm going to use a Dremel tool to level down the material, and I'm using a low grit sandpaper tool. There's a concentration of yellowed solution from the sole sauce. I think it leaches out the oxidation and it collects on the top. I have no idea how it works, but I think that's pretty cool. I'm basically just gonna use a steamer and a brush tip to remove the solution, and I'm gonna do a few more sessions until they're white. So hopefully I get all the stains out. These are the donors that I'm using. I don't even know what they're called, but they look pretty tight because they don't even have netting on them. And this was recorded before I got my new tabletop, just why you can see my desk looking all janky. These shoes have been pretty worn, so it's a lot easier for me to use the hot water method to separate the shoes. I'm gonna use a pair of needle nose pliers to help me extract the upper from the midsole. The back of the shoes is giving me a lot of trouble. I don't want to pull too hard where it'll rip off the foam too. So I'm gonna use a syringe and acetone to just tackle that area. I'm gonna show you in real time how long it actually takes for me to remove the outsole on these Jordan 4s. Of course it's gonna be sped up, but I'm gonna do the least amount of cuts just for you guys to realize it takes a really long time just to remove the outsole. So skip to 12 minutes and 25 seconds to get to the next part. I have to use a lot of heat, so that means I have to go back and forth on the outsole on one small area, just so I can penetrate through the outsole and to heat up the glue enough where I could just peel it with the help of acetone. And I'm using a medical syringe to help me put the acetone where I need it exactly. I'm really trying to stretch the outsole so when I put the acetone, it'll naturally open up for me even more. This job would be a whole lot easier if there was another person helping you out. So basically, if I had someone else to help me, they would just pour the acetone in while I just stretch the outsole. The glue is still pretty strong, so it took me about, I want to say like 5 to 10 minutes just to remove the outsole off of one shoe, and trying my best not to pop the air unit from using too much heat. It's so funny because I went on live stream a long time ago, like around 2016, and I was removing a pair of donors, and on live I popped an air bubble, and after that I was like, yeah, this live gotta end right now. The sole started to rip on me because I was putting too much stress and there wasn't enough heat and there wasn't enough acetone to eat through the glue. So what I did is I poured enough acetone along the edges and just used a bone tool to just shove it in there. Once I got enough leverage, I was just more careful on peeling the outsole because I didn't want it to continue to rip on me. For this part, since I know I don't need the heat gun anymore, I'm just being more generous with the acetone. At this point, my wrists were hurting from doing 3 things at once: pulling the outsole back, pulling the foam down, and squeezing the syringe. At this point, I'm just like, let me just use a cotton ball and just squeeze the acetone down. Okay, so the next step is to strip the factory paint using a paint stripper. In the last video of the Dornbecker 3s, it did damage the midsole, but I have full confidence it's not going to damage this midsole because it is a whole lot newer, I hope. So I'm just going to let it sit for about 10 minutes and wipe it away. And this is the brand of paint stripper that I'm using. You need a good amount of it for it to work. It's a lot harder to put it on midsoles just because there's a lot of dips and grooves that the paint stripper just runs off. But once I let the paint stripper cook, I just strip it away with this tool that I got with my paint brushes. Once I get majority of the paint out, I'm just going to use rubbing alcohol, not acetone. I'm using rubbing alcohol and cotton balls to clean up the paint. I'm going to use Dawn dish soap and running water to make sure I remove all of the paint stripper off of the midsole. I'm going to remove the leftover factory glue on the donors using a Dremel tool. I'm careful around the edges because I don't want to dig too deep with the Dremel tool because it will show that it's dented inside. I don't put too much pressure at all. It's actually lightly touching it. I just let the Dremel's weight do the job for me. I am going to paint the midsole before I glue it on the outsole, so I'm going to put glue on the midsole first, just in case if I accidentally get any paint on the areas that I'm going to glue, it will wipe away easily. I'm gonna sand down the midsoles with 400 grit sandpaper. This is gonna help my paint adhere to the midsole better. This will minimize any future paint cracking that will show from wearing them day to day. And I make sure to get into the tight corners because that's where paint cracking normally occurs. Alright, now it's time to paint the midsoles. I'm gonna hit it with a thin coat of white paint with my airbrush, and then I'm gonna go heavier on my second and third coat. There's these natural pores on the midsole, and this was not caused by the paint stripper. These small holes already come like this from the factory. It's just not as noticeable because they really cake on the paint. So what helps me out is I use a paintbrush to manually fill in the holes. I layer the paint with the paintbrush for 2 to 3 coats, and then I continue with the airbrush. I'm gonna give the soles a slightly aged look, so I'm gonna hit it with the paint that I mixed up on the bottom part of the midsole, replicating what a dead stock pair would look like from the same year of the shoes. And after I'm done, I'm gonna hit it with a matte finisher. I also use my Cricut cutter to cut out vinyl that has the same exact shape as the air bubble so I can have crisp, fresh lines. That was a lot of work so far. Now it's finally time to glue the midsoles to the outsole. I'm gonna prep the outsole with acetone and cotton balls to remove anything that might affect our reglue. Then I'm gonna add a fresh layer of barge cement super stick to both the outsole and the midsole. I'm going to reactivate the glue with heat using a heat gun until it reaches 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Once both the outsole and midsole are heated up, I'm gonna bond them together. It looks like I'm gonna do more dremeling. I'm gonna need to shave the foam down so the outsole will touch the top of the shaved leather on the upper. I have to adjust the height of the new donors because they weren't made exactly the same as the 2000 blings. The new donors have a lot more foam on the toe area to bring you more comfort. Unfortunately, I have to take it all off and shave it down just so the toe cap will be flush with the upper. I'm gonna draw a line on the leather where the top of the midsole meets. I'm gonna use this as my guideline on where to cut more leather and put my new glue. And I'm just gonna repeat the same steps as before. This time it's gonna be on the uppers. I've already heated up the glue. All I need to do now is just line it up and bond them together. I'm actually going to customize the Inso logo to match the chrome Jumpman on the back. This is heat transfer vinyl that you put on t-shirts, sweaters, or any type of clothing. The box says it'll withstand countless washes and countless times in the dryer, so it's for sure durable. I've replaced the logo on the insoles before, but I've never used a metallic chrome finish before. So it's very interesting to see on the insoles. And I'm using acetone to remove the existing logo, and I'm gonna dry it with a blow dryer. I'm gonna weed out the vinyl, and the tape that I put on the insole is a guideline on where to put the logo. So after using the plancha, I had to wait 2 minutes for it to cool down, and I just peeled off the protected film. So while we wait, let me do a quick video review on a bike that Yesoul sent me. This is not a paid sponsored ad, so I'm gonna give you guys my honest thoughts. Yesoul sent me the G1 bike with a 24-inch screen to review. Let's talk about price. Compared to other competitors, it's not bad. Also, if you use the code CYCLE at checkout, you get an additional $80 off. The classes are fire. The instructors really engage you, and they really push you to do better each cycle and session that you do. Okay, time for the pros and cons. So over the 3 weeks that I've been trying it out, I've already lost 6 pounds, just mostly on water weight. You know what I mean? So 6 pounds sounds like it's a lot, but it's a lot of water. The app layout is very easy to use, which is fire. I get to lose a lot of calories at home. I try to lose 500 calories per session. Okay, cons. I wish they would have sent me the cheaper bike. I would have preferred that instead of their most expensive one. The monitor is not that good. It says it's 1080p, but it looks more like a 480 scaled up to 1080. The video quality is whatever. Internet speed on the monitor is really slow, like DSL slow. I have fiber internet, so I have really fast internet at 1 gig a second. So I shouldn't have any lag at all when I'm streaming the instructors at full 1080p. You can also screen mirror your phone onto the monitor that it comes with. It sounds like a pro, but every time that I try to watch a video on YouTube, it lags a lot where I can't even watch anything, even on Netflix. I've already asked customer support on how to fix it. They try to help, but nothing worked. I've had issues installing the bike when it came to plugging in the monitor. The power wire to connect to the monitor was a little short, so I had to pull it and it yanked out of the bike, and it stripped the wire a little bit, so there's exposed wire poking out. I will get the cheaper bike. I don't need the big monitor. It's not even useful to me. At least, I don't need it. I'd rather just watch all my videos on the big screen, on the TV, or on my phone. So if you get this bike, I recommend getting the S3 instead of the G1. So save yourself $200 and just get the S3. I think this bike is worth it without the big screen. All right, let's go back to the restoration. And now we have an Inso logo that matches the chrome hits on the shoes. We're almost done with the restoration. All I have to do now is just sew back the toe box using my sewing awl. Because we've submerged the shoes in water, the leather is feeling a little stiff, so we're gonna recondition the leather using this Black Rock leather conditioner. It's gonna recondition the leather, make it more supple and healthy. From my experience, I feel like this is the best product to use to recondition leather. I feel like it's better than mink oil, but you might want to test it out on a small area first because it could darken the leather. After I let it soak up for about a day, I noticed how much softer the leather is. This video isn't sponsored by them, though I wish it was. I'm just letting you know that this is a fire product for your leather. And that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the transformation of the shoes. Run up the likes on this video so you can see me power wash and hopefully not damage. If you guys want to see me damage a pair of shoes, we'll see. Run it up to 3,000 likes and subscribe if you have not already. Alright y'all, I'll see you guys in the next video. Yee!